I am Susan Gentile, the Director of Instruction and Learning at the Quaker Valley School District. On behalf of the Elementary English Language Arts Curriculum Review Committee, I will present the findings from the Elementary English Language Arts Review completed in October of 2022. The goals of the presentation are to summarize the outcome of Phase 1 of the curriculum review process, to present the findings and recommendations, and to obtain board approval for the adoption of a primary resource. I would like to begin by providing background information on the curriculum review that will assist in understanding the recommendations proposed. The Elementary English Language Arts Curriculum Review Committee consists of representatives from each grade level, as well as academic specialists, reading specialists, special education teachers, elementary principals, and district administration listed here. You may recall from previous presentations describing the curriculum review process that Phase 1 involves updating the knowledge of the Curriculum Review Committee as to the most effective curriculum and programming for the content area based on research and analysis of current curriculum and resources. The curriculum review process involves evaluation of the three components listed here: the written curriculum, the resources, and the instruction. We will be explaining how this curriculum review addresses all three areas. For clarification, primary resources are typically textbooks or the equivalent, including teaching materials and student materials. Supplemental instructional materials may be websites, apps, or other programs designed to supplement the primary resource. Although this report summarizes the process and recommendations of the Elementary Committee, these activities were not completed in isolation. By the end of this school year, we hope to bring Phase 1 of the curriculum review to a conclusion for the entire department K through 12 by the spring of the 2023 school year. Any changes to the program of studies for the high school will be proposed in February of 2023. During Phase 1 of the curriculum review, the committee engaged in extensive research activities listed on the left side of this slide, including evaluating current research in literacy, reviewing student achievement data, reviewing curriculum and resources, and consulting with other schools and experts in the field. As a result, the committee developed capacity and a deeper understanding of the latest research in literacy instruction and was able to begin implementing many new approaches to instruction recommended by research and by the experts with whom we consulted. Ultimately, the committee identified a need to update our resources for English language arts to support the instructional shifts that were recommended. A resource that informed our review is the Pennsylvania State Literacy Plan. This plan, developed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education, provides guidance for developing a strong, evidence-based literacy curriculum. Information from this framework was used to guide the curriculum review process. The PA core standards are a set of rigorous, high-quality academic expectations in English language arts and mathematics that all students should master by the end of each grade level. When the Pennsylvania core standards were adopted in 2010, it represented a shift in expectations across multiple areas of students' educational experience, including instructional materials, classroom practice, and assessment. The shifts reflected a focus on college and career-ready skills that will better prepare students for opportunities after high school. The main shifts for English language arts are practicing regularly with complex text, grounding reading, writing, and speaking in evidence from the text, and building knowledge through content-rich nonfiction. At Quaker Valley, our curriculum has reflected these shifts since the PA core standards were adopted. It was important, however, for us to continue to revisit them as we conducted our review. Another concept that guided our review were transfer goals that were developed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education and adopted by the Quaker Valley School District ELA department. Transfer goals are what we want students to be able to do independently when they confront new challenges, both in and outside of school, beyond the current lessons and the unit. For English language arts, these goals listed here include reading, writing, speaking, and listening. When exploring the most relevant research related to literacy instruction, the committee focused on the science of reading. This is a vast interdisciplinary body of scientifically based research about reading and issues related to reading and writing derived from various fields including psychology, education, linguistics, and neuroscience. It investigates how children learn to read and what instructional approaches are most effective. One of the most important concepts related to the science of reading is Scarborough's rope. In this model, reading comprehension results from skills and knowledge that can be broken into two distinct and identifiable categories: word recognition or decoding, often referred to as foundational skills, and language comprehension. The strands weave to produce a skilled reader. This requires explicit instruction and practice over time. Structured literacy is a practice supported in much of the research explored in the science of reading. It is defined as an approach to reading instruction where teachers carefully structure important literacy skills concepts in the sequence of instruction to facilitate children's literacy learning and progress. In April of 2022, legislation was passed requiring teacher preparation programs in Pennsylvania to include instruction in structured literacy for all certification programs in early childhood, elementary, middle, special education, English as a second language, and reading specialists. It also required that in-service teachers in these areas be trained in structured literacy. This new legislation was an important consideration in the curriculum review process. Another important concept supported in the science of reading research is the importance of background knowledge in reading comprehension. This refers to knowledge readers have prior to reading a text. Research indicates that readers use their knowledge to understand, and that instructional practices consistent with building background knowledge include providing high-quality teaching in social studies, science, and the arts. The committee found this research to be important when considering resources to use and options for integrating literacy into other subject areas. The science of reading also addresses research related to best practices for writing instruction. The Institute of Educational Sciences publishes practice guides in education to bring the best available evidence and expertise to bear on current challenges in education. Their recommendations, informed by writing research included here, guided our recommendations related to writing instruction at Quaker Valley. As a result of our research, both internal and external, the committee developed several recommendations based on our findings that will be summarized in the next section. The committee has 7 major recommendations. The first 6 recommendations will be addressed through the completion of Phase 1 and 2 of the curriculum review process, where curriculum will be developed, procedures and guidelines for instruction will be created, and professional development will be provided. Some of this work is already underway and will continue throughout the 2022-2023 school year. This includes assuring that all kindergarten and first grade teachers have been properly trained to teach beginning reading, replacing whole language practices with evidence-based practices, strengthening supports for children who are not meeting grade level expectations, creating processes for ensuring consistency in the use of the ELA block, increasing opportunities for explicit writing instruction and practice, and connecting literacy instruction to other core instructional areas. Recommendation 7, related to the use of resources, will be the focus of the remainder of this presentation, as the committee is recommending the purchase of a new primary resource to support the existing supplemental resources that will continue to be used. I will now discuss the committee's recommendation for a new primary resource. As a frame of reference, it is important to note that our current resource, Journeys, published in 2011, has been discontinued by the publisher. Since it is well proven that the instructional materials have a significant influence on what and how a teacher instructs, the adoption of a strong primary resource was deemed necessary. The evaluation of a new English language arts resource involves several steps. First, the committee developed criteria based on research and recommendations from expert consultants. Then we identified 6 resources for initial review based on the criteria established. Next, we participated in vendor presentations and initial reviews of the materials. The committee narrowed the list to the top 3 resources and conducted deep dives into the resources, including thorough review of materials, observations and interviews with schools using the programs, and further consultations with literacy experts. Ultimately, the committee then chose a resource that best fit the needs identified. The committee focused on these important factors when considering programs: support for structured literacy and evidence-based practices, opportunity for consistency between grade levels and buildings, strong professional development and support, flexibility with time and implementation, and relative cost. It is important to note that although our goal was to identify a program that could address all needs, early in the process it became apparent that all of these programs would need some supplemental resources for foundational skills and writing. It also became apparent that they all contained extensive resources that would require the use of a literacy coach to assist with implementation. This led to a recommendation made in the 2021-2022 school year for a literacy coach to support implementation and provide ongoing professional development in literacy. This position was created and filled beginning with the 2022-2023 school year. The resource that the committee is recommending is the Into Reading program published by Houghton Mifflin Horkhart. The strengths of this program listed here include that it is a comprehensive program, yet it can be used flexibly. It uses complex and authentic literature and supports structured literacy practices. It also supports knowledge building, an important aspect of reading comprehension as previously mentioned, and writing using evidence. There are numerous supports for enrichment, intervention, English language learners, and for the teachers. It can also be used along with our existing supplemental programs, IXL, Hegarty, and Foundations. We will continue to use these resources along with the new resource proposed. Should the board approve the adoption of this resource in December, the materials will be purchased so that initial professional development can begin in January. During the winter and spring, teachers will further explore the resources with HMH trainers and the QVSD literacy coach. Curriculum and pacing guides will be developed during this time, with possible curriculum writing continuing into the summer months. The program will be implemented in all grades, kindergarten through 5, in the fall of 2023, with ongoing evaluation, professional development, and revision as necessary that school year. Any additional needs for novels or other professional development will be identified in the winter and spring of 2023. The projected budget for this purchase includes the print and digital resources for students and teachers. All print resources, including the textbook, are in consumable form so that students can annotate the reading passages during close reading with the teacher, an important practice supported by structured literacy. Print resources will be primarily used with students, although access to all resources will be available digitally for home use or classroom use as necessary. A professional development package including initial training and ongoing coaching throughout the school year will also be purchased. Finally, some curriculum writing may continue during the summer, resulting in a cost for payment to teachers for this work outside of the school year. Should a parent or member of the public desire to preview the materials prior to purchase, please contact me, Susan Gentile, for an appointment. Materials will be available for review until December 5th of 2022. This concludes the presentation of the 2022 Elementary English Language Arts Curriculum Review. Thank you for your interest in this important work and for supporting our students' literacy journey.